Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your tarot guidance for the full moon in Sagittarius, occurring on June 9th, 2017. This video is a sample of the 15 to 20 in-depth tarot guidances I offer on my Patreon creator page each month. I also do them by sun sign, planetary transits, the new moon, and retrogrades. Have a listen and check me out. Here is a little about what this full moon means for your sign. Aries, while you may not be an extremely spiritual individual, your spirituality and understanding of the universe will come to the forefront at this time. This will be a period of growth for you, which brings with it an expanded perception of your reality. Taurus, this can be a rather transformational time for you, similar to the transition referred to in the Death card. You can change your life and reinvent yourself as you see fit. Finances and loans can also be highlighted at this full moon, perhaps interfamily. Gemini, relationships will receive your closest scrutiny right now. To be truthful, you could take this either way. It depends upon how you have been feeling about the status quo. If you determine it is worth saving, then you will pull out all the stops to make it work. But if you have decided that you have had enough, well, alrighty then. Cancer, once a year, everyone has a full moon which lets them exercise their free will to overcome a long-standing bad habit or health issue, etc. This is the perfect time to start that diet or exercise regime. The Devil card represents this Sagittarius full moon for you, and the time has come to break free. Leo, work may not be high atop your to-do list right now. You will find this full moon has you focusing more on love and adventure, namely in the form of fun. Should you by any chance end a relationship at this time, you will not want to be sitting home alone. Fantasy and reality do not usually mix very well, so as long as you do not take yourself too seriously right now, you will be fine. Virgo, if you have been burning the candle at both ends, it will be blatantly evident to you at this full moon. Focus on the energy of the Two of Pentacles and allow yourself to go with the flow, ultimately keeping your priorities straight and maintaining a balance between home and work, as home is where your attention seems to be required. Libra, life may be throwing more at you than you can handle, much like Lucy and Ethel in the Chocolate Factory. The balance you crave may feel a bit off if you are being overwhelmed by too many demands. Do not let sibling rivalries wreak havoc with your plans. Seek accord. It is important that your voice and your thoughts be heard. Scorpio, a full moon in Sagittarius will likely have you focused on your finances and even your overall self-worth. With Saturn still touring Sagittarius through late December, you may be looking over the areas of finance which have been sticking points during this time, as you have been working at ways to overcome them. Sagittarius, this full moon is in your sign, so essentially this can wind up being all about you. There are matters which you may finally be able to bring to a conclusion, so as to move on with what is best for you. Use this time to determine what should stay and what should go, for much like the Four of Cups, there are some things of which you have grown weary. Capricorn, the Hermit, with his infinite guidance, is often showing the need for a little bit of alone time. There is more going on internally at the moment than what you currently choose to deal with in the outside world. Take the time out to think things over, reassess your goals, and gain a fresh perspective. Light a few candles and soak in the tub with a glass of wine in hand. Aquarius, this may be a very social time for you as you spend more time with close friends. It is also possible that a particular friendship may come to a close, whether through disagreement or a mutual situation which itself has come to an end. Pisces, a full moon in Sagittarius brings attention to your career, and since it deals with endings, you may find your career path takes a sudden turn, most likely for the best. Self-promotion will definitely help you in seeking the recognition you desire from the appropriate people. So let's see what the cards have in store, shall we? You know, when I was putting these down, I was looking at them. It's like, you know, you're in a, I want to say, a much more stable position than you've been in a while. But it's in that self-protection mode. I don't know of another way to put it, okay? I need to look out for myself and others as well, but really for yourself, because you've been through so much. And the new beginning, it's right there, and you're aware of it. Part of you wonders, you know, is this really coming? is it too good to be true? Do I deserve it? Oh, the other shoe's going to drop. All that kind of things. The things that we just start doubting and telling ourselves it could happen. Don't let the moon, play on those fears. That's very important here. Remain even-keeled with your emotions. Remain practical and down to earth. And proceed with your plans in a level-headed fashion. And let those fears go. Okay? We always talk about emotions at the full moon and things that people say. Because there's always someone in the mix, somewhere, who has no control over theirs. And it's on my mind now, so I know I need to say it. If you find that you have, you're worried about this over here, but you have so-and-so over there who comes along very innocently and didn't do anything to you, do not make them the brunt of your emotions. That simply isn't fair. And that's showing this here, in relationships. There's a great deal here regarding striving for balance. And keeping those emotions balanced and in check is of the utmost importance right now. Success, which comes with extra responsibility, can also be yours at this time as well. There is this, I almost think of Don Quixote, that tilting at windmills type of thing. Okay, where be careful that, you're not aspiring to do too much at once. Because sometimes that fantasy, it can become a reality. And I'm not saying that you're, totally living on a dream here, but balance is very key in this reading and maintaining it. It's often best, when I look around here, there's still that need for taking your time with things, not being too impulsive. Because as I said, you're taking on more, whether it's more responsibility at work, in life in general. Things are changing. But, you're working on where are my rewards. That payout's not quite here yet. And there's still a lot of work that's involved. A great deal to be learned as well. So this is going to take a little bit of time. I still really feel that the big turning point is going to be in 2 more months at the full moon, and more likely the new moon, which are in August. They are both eclipses, and that will make a big difference. August itself is full of so many things for us to talk about that I know I'm going to be doing a lot of extra guidance here on Patreon, as well as other places. You'll see more things coming up. There's too much that's happening, and you won't have any concrete footing at that time. That's why it's important right now not to be going off, wildly in a new direction. Just take your time with it and proceed. It's definitely okay to be headed in the direction of your hopes and dreams. Like I said, there is success here. There's recognition here. And relationships, some of them may be a bit much. It feels like there is at least one where you're obligated to put up with it for a while longer, if that makes any sense. It's something to that effect. And it'll translate in a different way for everyone, okay? You just want to really, and not just break free, because this is a year of breaking out and breaking free from situations that have held you back for the last 5 years. But this year, there's that desire to just recover from all of it as well. That finding security and stability. There's this whole thing about, you may have been through some, I want to say, unorthodox things to get to this point. And now there's a desire for, I want to say, normalcy, whatever you determine normal to be. It's not the same for everyone, but it's more within the guidelines of society and not so out there. In other words, you may have done anything it took to survive the last 5 years, but they're definitely not things you want to repeat again. So you're trying to get back inside that where you belong. And I think if you're listening, then this probably makes sense to you, that there's a situation where You want to conform to what normal is. It can even have to do with relationships, failed marriages, things of that nature, looking for good relationships and, being able to be in something that's normal and stable. So there's a lot of ways that this can translate for you, and it shows up in the respect that at this full moon, while some things in life may feel like they're smoothing out, and this reading starts with stability. Your real focus is stability and balance. But like I said, there's a relationship I think that you're obligated to in some way, whether it's personal, business, whatever, and you're really just trying to defend your position until you get to the point where you feel like you've won. And it's not so much that you're battling another individual, even though you may be, but it's about getting to a certain point, and you're not at that point yet. That point doesn't come really till like August, September. I'm thinking you have to get past all the changes that come in August to really, feel that you have achieved this victory with this. But it definitely appears to be on your mind at this full moon. Now, one of the things, and we've talked about this, and I don't know why, but it takes time. It takes a couple months to work these things out. There are a lot of details. There is no way that, we've talked about wishing and hoping. There is no wishing that something happens and the universe just plops it in your lap. This is all about how much work, how much effort you put into it to reap the rewards, and giving it really needs your undivided attention. So this is going to be an ongoing theme for a while, just getting all of those details in order. Because when August comes, you're ready to leave it all behind. This is good. I can think of various scenarios of people with whom I've spoken telling me, things that they have going on in their life. But it's that checking everything off the list and getting it all done the right way. As I said, you're putting yourself back into this normal mode. All right? I want to make it right. I want to make it right for the long term, because this is a big transition that you're going through here. You have reached it. At this full moon, you're in it. I really, truly believe that you are in it. You may not realize it, but you are. The biggest changes do come, like August, September, October. Things are much different by November. So, yeah, you're ready to just, you want to go. But, the universe says no, no, no. And it's not that it's holding you back. You just need to take your time, okay? But I'll tell you what, when you get to, even though you're working on it now, you keep on, like, plodding along and there's a lot of effort in this reading. And it's effort to be admired, because all of a sudden, it's like when you keep adding ingredients to a pot, and then the pot just goes, pew! That's it, okay? You concocted something that blows the lid off. That's it. And then you can move, and then you can go, and then you're on your way. That other stuff, water under the bridge, whatever it was. Those last 5 years, it's like, finally. See, you've already dealt with the things that came up, but it's getting to the new part that has been like, all right, I am ready. And it's just like it's been going slow, hasn't it, since the beginning of this year? And those of you who have been listening to me for a long time are aware that, we're talking about this full moon in Sagittarius right now, but you're aware that I have been talking about the full moon in September the 6th, commonly known as the harvest moon. And that one is where the change comes in. And it's a few days later when Jupiter leaves shadow while still in Libra, okay? And it's poised to really, really help you. It's helping you all along now, okay? Not to get away from the full moon, but all of these things, are working together. But that's the point that I see, is that point in September where you're starting to see that what you want, you're making it happen. See, there's a difference here, and we've been talking about this again. that there is nothing wrong with wishing for something in your life. I think dreaming and wishing are good. Hoping is another whole different thing that I don't condone. But that's the thing. Your wishes come true because you made them come true. It didn't just happen all through divine intervention. If you were doing the work, then the universe plays its part. And yes, you are definitely rewarded. And it's around the time of that full moon in September. So it's important what you're doing now that you work on the stability and the balance, okay? There is a great deal of self-nurturing taking place here. And, you know, you always nurture others, but there's definitely a need for nurturing yourself now. And it's almost like that conversation where if you could go back and tell yourself 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever, your younger self, what advice would you give? I'm not so sure, to be honest with you, if you could really give any. You know, like, oh, when you meet so-and-so, run in the other direction. I don't think that that's possible because, you know, you have the free will along the way to make these choices. But you're definitely just cutting away, you know, eliminating what you don't want in your life. So there is an ending that comes with this full moon. It may not be the one, like I said, there is some kind of a relationship in your life that is going to be around for a little while longer because you can't eliminate it yet. All right. But that doesn't say you can't eliminate other things along the way. And you know what? You've gained a new perspective as well. You know, that I was talking about, you know, wanting to go, go, go. I think you've really been held up. There's a reason. And I'm not a big believer in there's a reason for anything. You can't convince me of that. But, you know, you are being held up for these next couple of months to really look things over. Because there is something that in your mind, you perceive it as, see, there's a lot of resistance to it. You know, resistance and defense. And the question is why? Why do you feel this way? And why do you feel as though you're in a battle? One of the lessons that's in this, that's part of this full moon, that you will, I would say by August, September, you'll realize it. You know, it's not always worth engaging. Very often you win what you perceive as an intended fight by walking away, by not engaging. That speaks volumes. I don't care if it's a verbal argument or just a situation. Do not engage. You know, you're not worth my time. You don't have to say it. That's the thing. You do not have to say it. Actions speak louder than words. And I think that if you get this and you do this, boy, there is an inner part of you that starts to reflect in your outer world. Very difficult to explain. I call it generosity of spirit. And you may not be rich after everything you've been through, but you definitely know more about yourself, who you are, who you're becoming, and what you've overcome. And there's been a great deal of indecision along the way as well, which is part of the reason for taking your time. You will reach a point. I really feel in, you know, the next 2 to 3 months, that August, September time frame, the decision is there, the rebirth is there, and whatever it is that you have, whatever your life consists of at that time, you know, that new identity that you've achieved, you're really going to feel so much better about yourself. You know, there's a lot of success with this. You know, one of the things that's difficult for people to do, but I think many of you have learned more about how to do it, is that go with the flow. Okay? It's all about the balance that you're creating in your life right now. Through that balance comes stability. Through eliminating the things that don't belong, you're finding your way. And I'm telling you, August is when the major change comes. That is when you really are back in your power and breaking out. And once again, you did it and I don't want to say in a sneaky way. You did it quietly, and quietly is important, all right? You know, there's a lot of conversation here, okay? A lot of conversation. And, you know, if you have a trusted confidant, that's one thing. But the whole world does not need to know your business. Whatever you're doing, it doesn't need to be on Facebook. It doesn't need to be wherever. You don't need to call up everyone you know and tell them what is happening. Because, you know, the sense that I get from this is that doing something like that would trip you up with your ultimate goals. And you need to just be discreet in whatever it is you're working on, and you'll get there better. It's not about doing anything to hurt anyone or deceive anyone. It's just that, you know, sometimes not so many people need to be involved. So this is a good thing. You're definitely finding your way. But this is it now. This full moon, this brings the transition. And I'm telling you, the really, because it's right here in front of me, the really big turning point is the total solar eclipse in Leo on August 21st. So stay tuned. I hope to see you back here. I hope to see you on Patreon. Thank you very much for listening. We have a great deal more to talk about, my friends. Take care. I'll speak to you real soon.